Okay, another class on ways of. Now we're looking at ways of looking. So lots of vocabulary on the theme of looking, and as always, yes, you'll see lots of this in literature, you really will. But you'll hear lots of it in everyday English as well, because all of this is everyday English, certainly. So if you frown at somebody, you do that with your eyebrows, you know, you have this worried, anxious or concerned look on your forehead. And so you frown at somebody if you're annoyed or if you're worried. It could be either, but you frown at somebody, and it literally is doing that with your with the muscles above your eyes. Yeah, and so I get lots of creases on my forehead when I frown. And you can say he always walks around with a frown on his face, just like you can say a smile on his face. Yeah, he always walks around with a frown on his face or a smile on his face. And obviously they are different. A frown is this, and a smile is that. Yeah. Now, if a phrasal verb quickly, if you say his parents frown on his relationship with his new girlfriend, you know, they disapprove of that relationship. And to frown on something or somebody is to disapprove of something or somebody. And that's also used, frown on or frown upon. Upon and on are often synonymous prepositions. Upon is just the older, more literary, more formal version. Okay, so frown is an annoyed or worried look, yeah? Glare is an angry look, yeah? And it means you look at somebody for a long time. It's got that staring component as well, because stare is just for a long time, but glare is for a long time and angry. And notice that with the verbs of looking at something, they're nearly always at, yeah? Stare at, frown at, glare at, gaze at. So that's something that's fortunate, isn't it, really? It's a little bit easier to remember, because it's easy to remember look at, yeah, hopefully. Okay, so if you glare at somebody, you are angry with them. But you can also fix somebody with a fierce glare or with an icy glare. Yeah, these collocate very well with the noun glare. And if you fix someone with an icy glare or a fierce glare, you're glaring at them fiercely or in a cold manner. You know, that's why we say an icy glare, because the person is really cold and yeah, there's no warmth, no love in that look. So you can also talk about glare from your monitor. And I think this is often overlooked, but you can talk about the dazzling glare of the headlights of a car, or maybe the dazzling glare of a monitor. Yeah, I mean, when I'm reading things on my monitor, on my computer late at night, there's a lot of glare, and that's that bright, dazzling light from the monitor that means that you can sometimes hurt your eyes after a while and find yourself twitching. So you can also talk about the full glare of the monitor or the intense glare of the morning sun. Yeah, so this can mean a dazzling bright light as well as an angry look. It has two meanings, okay? It's the noun that's used really as glare from the monitor and glare from the headlights and glare from the morning sun. So it's a second meaning. And so, yeah, whenever anything is glaring at you, by the way, usually you squint like that, because the dazzling light, the blinding lights, the dazzling lights make you squint, yeah? So if you've got a car's headlights glaring at you, and you can use it as a verb, sorry, yeah, the car's headlights glared at me. It doesn't mean they stared at you, because of course headlights can't look. But we do use it like that to say that they blinded me, they dazzled me, their headlights were glaring at me, the dazzling glare. Okay? So if you stare at somebody, this just means for a long time. And there are lots and lots of adverbs you could use with stare. You can stare at somebody intently. You can stare at somebody unblinkingly. Now, of course, stare means that you just look and look and look and look. But unblinkingly means the person doesn't even blink. Yeah, remember that two eyes at the same time is blink. Where's blink here? And if you say stare at somebody unblinkingly, you're not even blinking. Yeah, and of course everybody needs to blink sometimes, so that's quite a good one. Stare at somebody unblinkingly. Stare at somebody vacantly. Yeah, as if you're not there, as if you're staring into space. There's something catatonic about a vacant stare or a vacant glare. You can actually talk about a vacant glare in his eye. And you can certainly talk about a vacant stare as well. So stare at someone vacantly. When you do that, well, you can still stare at somebody vacantly, and it just means that you're staring at them as if there's nothing behind your eyes, as if you're not conscious or something like that. You're catatonic. And yeah, often if you're catatonic, you stare into space. Now you can stare at somebody defiantly, yeah, if you are defying them, or you're angry with what they've done, and maybe they've ordered you to do something. There's nothing you can do about it, but you stare at them defiantly. You can stare at them open-mouthed, yeah, with your mouth open. You can stare at somebody wildly, suspiciously, hopelessly, helplessly, gloomily. Gloomy means quite depressingly, yeah, stare at somebody gloomily, like you're in a depressed mood or something like that. So there's lots of adverbs that work very well with stare, and lots of these actually work with glare and frown and gaze also. So if you gaze at the stars, gaze is love, yeah, there's love or admiration most of the time, not always, because I have seen an angry gaze and things like that, but most of the time you use glare is angry and gaze is love and admiration. So we talk about gazing at the stars. You know, astronomers love the stars. They're a thing of beauty. They're telling them something about how the universe works, and so they have a great love for the stars. So they gaze at the stars when they peer down their telescopes. Yeah, peer works very well with telescopes. Peer down the telescope. And you gaze into each other's eyes, yeah, and it still means look for a long time, but with love, yeah, with love. So you gaze into each other's eyes if you're in love, if you're head over heels in love, and you might gaze in wonder at something, and this is in awe, gaze in awe at something. You could gaze in awe as well, why not? And this really does mean, oh, wow, that looks miraculous, that's spectacular, that's gorgeous, that's you know, something that's really amazing, that's moving. You can gaze in wonder at something. So maybe you gaze in wonder at the pyramids, yeah, something like that, a really impressive building. Or maybe you gaze in wonder at the scenery, the sunset, yeah, any beautiful piece of picturesque landscape. You could gaze in wonder at the mountains. Now, if I don't know, if perhaps somebody's getting changed in front of you, you may need to avert your gaze, avert your eyes. And this means look away, don't look at somebody, probably because they're getting changed and they're shy and they don't want you to look at them anyway. They don't want you peeking at them or peeping at them, which is usually secretly at something you're not meant